Hundertwasser. Hundertwasser was born in 1928 in Vienna, Austria. By the time he was 5, he was expressing himself as an artist. He drew this self-portrait when he was 19 years old. When an artist draws a picture of him or herself, it is called a self-portrait. This is a realistic self-portrait. This is a portrait of Hundertwasser's mother. He drew it when he was at the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. When he finished school, he decided he was no longer interested in drawing realistic portraits. His paintings of people began to be more about shapes, colors, and lines. What shapes do you see here? This painting is called Man Twirling His Mustache. Is this painting very realistic? Some of his paintings are abstract. In an abstract painting, you cannot tell what the artist is painting. What do you see? In this painting, Hundertwasser decided to combine realism with abstraction. What is real and what is abstract? He often painted pictures of houses and people. In this painting, he used lines to make many shapes. What are some of the shapes that he repeats? Hundertwasser often made his portraits of people becoming part of the earth. He believed that people needed to learn to live in harmony with the earth. What is harmony? Hundertwasser built his own house. He believed that houses should be a part of the earth. What do you think it would be like to live here? He also designed buildings for cities. They looked like his paintings. A person who designs buildings is called an architect. Can you find the trees on top of his roofs? Here is one of his buildings. Can you imagine living or working here? How do you think the neighbors like it? Hundertwasser's dream was for people to learn to live with nature instead of paving over it. His artwork was dedicated to this dream. He felt that it was important to leave grass and trees. Plants clean our air. They create a place for animals to live and for people to explore. Every day, humans make choices about how they affect the earth. What are some of the choices that you can make? For today's lesson, we're going to start with some oil pastels, or crayons if you prefer, some watercolor paints, a black Sharpie marker, a couple of different sizes of brushes, some water, and you need a large sheet of watercolor paper. So we're going to start first just by moving everything to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is make a horizon line. So the horizon line is where our buildings are going to rest. So make some kind of a wavy line down at the bottom of your paper. Some kind of a wavy line. And now we're going to start to put in some buildings. Now when we go to put in our buildings, Hundertwasser often did these kind of strange building tops, and one of them was kind of like an onion. So I'm going to show you how to make an onion top today. So I want you to come to the very top edge of your paper, like touching up at the very top. Decide where you want your first building to be. Do you want it next to the edge, in the middle, at the side? Choose a spot where you want your building to be, and right up at the top, I want you to make a dot. So you see how close I am to my top edge? And then underneath that dot, I am going to make a nice smile. Then I'm going to go to that dot and I'm going to connect it over to my smile. And then draw some curved lines inside. and that's going to give me a Hundertwasser onion. Now underneath this, I am going to draw some rectangles with squishy edges or soft edges. And I'm going to keep just making them until I get to my horizon line. And they can be different sizes. Now once I have one made, I'm ready for my next one, and I'm going to decide where I want it to go. Do I want it to be right next to it, over a little ways? You can totally choose where you want your next building to be. And I'm going to show you how to make this building top. You could make another onion or something else, or you could join me in making this kind of a top. So I think I'm going to put mine, right here. So I'm going to actually start this time with a rainbow. And then underneath that rainbow, I'm going to put a really soft little smile. I'm going to put a little curved shape on the top. And I think I might put a tree, because Hundertwasser was always making trees. There's a tree on the top of my building. Now inside, I'm going to make the letter E. Now once I have my E made, I'm going to go ahead and go up around to the top of it. And then I'm going to circle all the way around underneath it, and then go off the page. Well, now I have a nice swirl in there. And I'm going to make rectangular shapes underneath this one too. And I'm going to keep going until I get down to my horizon line. So I have 2 buildings made now. Now if I wanted to add another building, I could. So you could easily add in one. It wouldn't have to be as big. You could make a smaller one if you want. Or you could just leave it with 2, whichever you prefer. Now once we have our buildings in, we could go ahead and play with the shapes inside of our buildings. So you can see with Hundertwasser, he has all different ways that he fills in some shapes. And your teacher might have printed this out for you, and you can just go ahead and make the kind of shapes you want, or you can follow along with me. So you're going to just choose one of your rectangles and start making shapes. And it's fun to do something different in each one. Now once you have your buildings drawn, you're going to go ahead and maybe add in a sun somewhere. You could add in a sun in any location. I'm going to make mine lots of circles. You could start adding in trees. His trees were often circles inside of circles. Now in his ground, he would often make wavy layered lines. So you could make some wavy layered lines in there. And sometimes in a sky, he would make raindrops. And to make raindrops, you can take, and it's kind of like making that onion. You make your dot, underneath it you make your smile, and then you connect it over. You could also start with the smile first, and then come up. I want to water my trees, I'm going to put lots of rain. Now you could also put some eyes into your drawing. Sometimes down into the earth, he would put people looking out. I'm going to add someone right here. So to put in eyes, the first thing you do is you make a rainbow. And then after you make the rainbow, you make a smile. And you connect your rainbow to your smile. And then you make another little rainbow inside. And then you make a circle. And then you have an eye. I'm going to do that again if you want to see it. So you make a rainbow. You make a smile. You put a little baby rainbow inside. And you make a circle. And then we have some eyes looking out. You could add in extra eyes if you wanted to as well. Or you could add in different shapes or lines down in here. You could break it up if you wanted to in different ways. All right, I think I am ready for my oil pastels now. Now, you could use oil pastels for this or crayons if you prefer. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and start outlining the different things that you've drawn. So you're not going to fill them in, you're just going to outline, and this is going to become like a crayon resist when you go to paint. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And my final step is going to be to take my watercolor paints in. If you haven't worked with the watercolor paints yet, you might want to go ahead and do the watercolor paint demo so that you know how to learn how to take care of your watercolors first. But once you know how to do that, you can just go for it. Really making sure you clean your brush in between your colors so that you can keep your paints clean for you and for the next person that's coming in. All right, so there I have my finished Hundertwasser landscape. Hope you enjoyed making yours. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.